All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're here with another Jazz Matters podcast. Today, we're going to be talking to the great guitarist, David Grant. And we're here also with our great host, Vaughn Coulter, the great Vaughn Coulter from Jazz Beats Radio. Yes. And what we want to do before we get started in here, we want you to go to, we want you to like the podcast and subscribe. You could also go to yesjazzmatters.org and you can see everything there is to know about Jazz Matters. We also have Jazz Matters store, which you can buy apparel, sweatshirts, hoodies, t-shirts, mugs, and everything else I can put up there. So we're going to go ahead and lay it out now. Like I said, we have David Grant here. And David, for all the people that don't know you, can you just start us off by letting us know where you're from and how you got into this business, music?
I'm from Richmond, California, near Oakland, home of Tower Power and Curtis Olson and all these cool cats. I think Mimi Fox. If you ever heard of Tuck and Patty, they used to play around there. Ray
Patty,
Ray Obiado. We used to go see Tuck and
Function, all those bands.
Yeah, matter of fact, I did a recording at Felton Pilot with my boys. I was just talking to them today. We did a recording up in the studio at some church in Vallejo way back when I was in college. My boy wrote a couple songs and Felton Pilot recorded them and stuff. So that, and then my album I did it with Curtis Olson, who used to be married to Rosie Gaines. And she did Diamonds. She was the vocal behind Diamonds and Pearls.
Right.
This Prince
song. Yeah.
Back in the day. So I grew up listening to that. I was listening to music. Then all of a sudden I found jazz through George Benson, of course, and Earth Wind, a little bit of Earth, Wind and Fire. The That's the Way of the World album. But that Breezing album was like, I listened to that all summer long for like the whole summer. I was 17. I was like, I want to learn to do that. And so I'm from Oakland. That's how I got started in the music. And my boys all my good buddies were all music heads and jazz heads. They were in Brand X and Rush and Return to Forever and anybody and everybody that made good music, Tower Power, all that stuff. So I'm from Cali, the West Coast.
That's your homeboy over there, Vaughn. He's from Cali also.
Oh, where you from, Mr. Vaughn?
Born and raised in Compton, brother.
Oh, heck yeah. I used to live in that. I was with the first day of me during the riots. I was all up in Compton Airport. I had some couple of brothers that flew airplanes out of Compton Airport and everything. And so I used to play.
Yeah, that little municipal airport right there.
Yeah. In the middle of the city. I used to go play at the Townhouse all the time with Ron Brown over on, what's that thing?
Yeah.
On La Sierra. Every Sunday they had a jam session. And I remember seeing Black Note, Marcus Shelby, when they first started out, and then the Fifth Street Dicks, another little jazz spot. And I go to the World Stage sometimes. So yeah, I've been around. I've been around too. You know. Billy McCoy is doing it out there now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the keyboard player. He's bad. He's badass. I'm sorry. He's good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You are on the air. And you can only do so many words with so many alphabets in them, so you have to watch out.
Gotta watch out. I'm gonna keep it clean.
Yeah, right. But anyway, Dave, I know that your album, the one that the album that you have, can you tell us about how you put that together? Because it's a great album. I mean,
man,
it's a great CD, and it's so reflective of people like George Benson or Norman Brown or somebody like that, So as a, how did you put that together, and really what drove you to those, the concept of it?
Well, I came up with the idea that I'm not getting any younger, and I figured I need to leave something for somebody to know that I was on this oif, and so I said I'm gonna make a record, and the concept was I want to make something that's not commercial, but all the tunes on there were from artists that people that inspired me. Like, of course, I did 3 or 4 George Benson songs. I wrote some songs. I did some Wayne Shorter tunes, stuff I used to hear on radio, basically. at this radio station called KRE, AM and FM in Oakland, in Berkeley, I guess they were. And they used to play all kind of stuff. And so that was my favorite radio station. So stuff like that inspired me. Robin Ford stuff, some blues, because I like the blues. And so I went to my boy, Curtis Olson, who was gigging around. He was like, I got a studio in my house, and kept talking about studio. So I said, you know what? I went to him and started talking to him out in Oakland. And he said, yeah, I can put you together with a studio. And he's the one that produced it. And he came up with he hired the musicians. Like, that's how I got David Garibaldi on there for 2 cuts from Tower Power, and all the cats, Ray Oviedo, Mike Spiro, the great percussionist, is on there. Maceo Magdalou, who played with Pete Escovedo a lot, and his band was on there. So I got David K. Matthews, the organist, is on there too. And he was playing with Tower Power and Etta James. So he got all these cats together, and they were so gracious and humble to play with this novice, you know. So we recorded the stuff. Basically, I went out there once a month for about 2 years, because I had class privilege. So I went out there, and whenever I had money, I cashed them out. So it cost me about 10 grand and to get it all done. But I was really, really pleased how it came out. I sounded like I'm somebody.
Yeah. Hey, man. So are you in contact with any of those people today?
Oh, yeah, still to this day. Me and Curtis are real good buddies. And Ray Oviedo was at me before the COVID hit. I had started 3 more tunes for a second album, and then the COVID hit, so I haven't been out. So I'm going to probably contact him in a month or 2, because I think California is really on lockdown now, and see about restarting the project. So yes, I am. On short answer, yes.
Yeah. Now, like, let's say before the COVID thing, had you planned on getting those guys together for any live stuff?
No, just on the album, because they're so busy. I didn't feel like I had the, they were really busy. Like Ray Oviedo had his own thing, and he was playing with Pete Escovedo and Sheila E. And then Curtis was doing this. He started another business, to be honest, doing the cannabis stuff. So he kind of stopped playing altogether.
Oh yeah, he saw the light.
So he gave it up, after all those years. He said, you know what, I want a steady paycheck. And apparently he's doing real good with that. And every now and again, he's gigging with Roger Smith, the organist up there in Sacramento and stuff. And who's the other cat? And a couple other cats like that. But he doesn't gig too regular. But I still, if I have any questions, I'm definitely going to call him. So yeah, I'm in contact with those guys. But mainly, I'm going to be probably contacting Ray Oviedo again in a month or 2 and see what's up about finishing up my tracks. And I done wrote 3 or 4 tunes since then, and I'm still trying to shed and practice, because I'm a wood fledgling guitar player. I need to get back in the shed like nobody's business. So
I tell you, the COVID made that possible for a whole lot of people.
Yeah. So I've been trying to do that regular, but I've been working a little more. So not as much as at first. I was at it every day, but now I'm still kind of at it, but not as much as I want to be. But anyway, long story short, yeah, I'm gonna be in touch with them and make it happen. So I got everybody in mind that I want to put on it. So yeah, definitely.
Okay, so when you put this together, you're looking at what, probably by the end of this year?
Hopefully, if I can at least to have, because I got 3 tunes. They recorded 3 tunes in the studio out in Sunnyvale, and then I want to add the originals and maybe put a couple more covers or arrangements of some covers. So yeah, hopefully at the end of the year, I can have something that's almost ready, like ready for mastering and stuff like that.
Oh, cool. Now, you going to record out there, or are you going to record in?
Probably out there.
Okay.
That's where the cats are. But I got ideas to do some stuff out here. I was looking at the studio down in again before COVID down here in Clayton County, and then my other friends got a studio up in Swanee. So I'm kind of doing both, because I like the Atlanta flavor. Every city has a flavor. You know what I'm saying? Every region has its own little flavor of musicians.
Right.
And the reason I did the first one in Oakland was because that was my home. That's where I learned about all these great musicians. I was just go see, Jean-Luc Ponty, all these cats. And I used to listen to Curtis and all, and they played Latin and jazz. They played like everything. And they, you know, they montunos, boleros, they know all that stuff. So I was like, for tunes like that, I need to go out there with a cat. And that's what I learned from Curtis also. He was like, you know, not every guy can play every groove. Like there's a funk drummer, but he may not be good at Latin. So he showed me that the every tune has its own little heart. So you got to find the right musician to match the heart of that tune. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, makes sense.
So and it ain't nothing against the guy can't play, but he may not be a Latin drummer may not be able to play some funk. You know what I'm saying? Because he's all into Latin.
Yeah.
That's all he knows. So it is. So I'm gonna do a little bit of both. No question.
Yeah. That reminds me of Alex Acuna. I was talking to Alex Acuna once, and he was telling me, "Oh man, you gotta play everything, man. You gotta get into everything." And he was definitely a workaholic when it came to the music and stuff. You know, he wanted to consume everything, which is a good thing. I mean, Harvey Mason did the same thing. He got into all of that stuff, man. So you couldn't tell what kind of drummer they are. All you know is that you could use that person for anything, you know.
Yeah, there are cats like that, then there's other cats that are just in their little lane, I guess, for whatever reason. And so you have to kind of, you know, have to have an ear for what you really want, you know, so what's best. So that's not slighting, that just is what it is. Like Steve Gadd, like you said, Acuna's, Harvey Mason, they play on everybody's album because they can do pocket.
Everybody album, yes,
they
sir.
Can do pocket, they can do all the fills, they can do solo, they can solo their behinds off, they can do everything. They can swing with authority, you know what I'm saying? They can all that.
Yeah, so what I was gonna check with you and find out if you know, this new album that you are gonna lay out, is it gonna be more I know the other album, like you said, it was kind of it was in pocket, a little progressive. And is this one going to be more in line with where people are doing what they call smooth jazz now? Or is
more or less, maybe I'm gonna have, well, I'll put it like this, I got some tunes that I think would fit with a vocalist, and that's all I'm gonna say. And they might be, but if you call it what you want to, but yeah, I'm gonna have some vocal tunes on there, which the first album doesn't have any vocals on it.
Right, and that's interesting because I wanted to find out what kind of vocals are you kind of looking for? Is it male, female, or
both? I got one tune that would called doing nothing slow. I think would sound good with like a voice like yours, kind of halfway singing.
Okay, it'll sound good, but I don't know if you want to do that.
No, I'm saying, you know, gravitas, you know, about behind, you know, it's the idea of this song with me is like, I used to say I do nothing real slow. So, and I came up with a tune in a hotel room, like on my layover somewhere, and I came up with a little giddy to it. And the thought was somebody just kicking it, you know, and who better to kick it than a man, you know, I'm thinking. Women kick it too, but you know what I'm saying. To me, in my mind, it was caught up with a dude just kicking it. He done worked hard all week, and he just like, look, I ain't doing nothing today. This is my day to do nothing slow. So yeah, I got both, and I got another tune that I think would be good with a female. So I'm open to any sound that sounds good for the tune. Again, any kind of sound that sounds good for the tune, the idea of the tune that I got.
Now Vaughn over here is over at Jazz Beats Radio, and it I definitely need you to get that material, your first album, over to him.
Oh, I can.
And let him check it out and everything. And I'm sure you're gonna like it, Vaughn, because Vaughn has a wide scope, you know.
Yeah, he can listen. You can Google my name, David Grant First Flight, and it's on YouTube and it's on some other stuff. But I don't know how, you know, I put it on CD Baby at first, and then it segued over to YouTube and Spotify and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And there's some other English cat. The only thing is some other English cat named David Grant who raps. He's a brother. I'm like, that ain't me. So what I tell him. But I can either a hard copy or whatever. I can send a hard copy. I got a couple hard copies I can send to him, or however you want to do it. We'll make it work.
Yeah, so Vaughn, you want to jump in here anytime?
I think that you know, I'm looking forward to hearing your stuff, Mr. Grant, because I think, you know, those names you mentioned, and I'm a huge fan of Ray Oviedo, that guy right there. And, you know, I think his musicology is kind of like undercover because there's a lot of stuff he has written for a lot of other people that they have no idea that he writes like that. You know,
Yes,
really, really stellar musician. Yeah.
yes,
And,
yes.
you know, your list of musicians that, you know, out of Northern California is legendary in the state. You know, just hearing, you know, cats like, you mentioned Dave Garibaldi and,
Yeah,
um, you know, Power, um, Confunction, you know, all of these bands that came out of there, the Brothers Johnson. You
yeah,
know, it's just that's kind of like taking me back in the day, you know,
yeah.
because I'm a graduate of LA City College,
Okay.
and you know, and that's how I got involved with Jazz Beats Radio because one of the guys that attended the school at the same time I did, he's the one that started this radio station here in Atlanta.
Oh, cool.
And
Okay.
you know, so we kind of like hit it off, and we're taking this thing into a positive direction, and we're about to just burst at the seams for 2021. So yeah, send me your stuff, man. I'm looking forward to having it part of my playlist, no doubt
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. I can put it in. You want me to mail it or email? I don't know how to do all
I
that stuff.
mean, you know, you can email it to me, MP3, of course, you
Okay.
know, and we'll check it out.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So
So,
before we leave, I got to get your data so I can do that, or text it to me, or Edwin
Oh
text it
yeah,
to me.
absolutely.
Okay. Cool.
Hmm.
Cool. We can make it work.
so where now when you're looking ahead, you know, what do you think about some of these newer or younger musicians right now that
Uh,
that's doing things and using the term smooth jazz or jazz. Now, the thing about it is, I noticed that a lot of them tend to play grooves, you know, uh, but they leave out that element of jazz, you know. So, what do you think about that concept of what people are listening to now? It sounds mostly like R&B to me, but you know, I want to get your opinion.
Bro, you and me on the same page with that, and I get it, and it sells. I get it. I get it. But the art is not that. Excuse me, the art ain't there. You know what I'm saying? The art of improvisation, the art of they just trying to do a groove that sounds like everybody else's groove to sell music. You know what I'm saying? And that's not the same as being an artist, being a jazz artist, a jazzman to me. And it don't mean that you can't do 2-chord stuff in jazz, because you know Coltrane did all that mode stuff, 1 chord, and wore it out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All those cats do like 1 or 2 chords and wore it out and come up and not. But I get the other side of it, that sometimes it does get away from the listenership because they don't want to, they don't understand or whatever. The American people are not into anything where you have to think about it. That's what we're up against, I think, because the sound bite, the sound bite. Everything is like 2-minute sound bite, 2 minute. Get what you like the news. Here's the teaser for the headline, and then bam, they're going to, and then they go into the next story. It's kind of that way with music. So we have now, a lot of people have been conditioned to just get a little bit of taste of it and go, and they get bored real quick. They don't take the time to investigate. And that's what you need when you listen to stuff that's more musically good, for lack of a better word. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's almost like they're kind of like they lost the heritage that
Correct.
we had in the jazz culture.
Correct.
And they are basically shooting for the bottom line, which is the dollar.
Yeah, and I get it.
And with the dollar, of course, you know that there's no soul in the dollar. You know what I'm saying? So you can't. Yeah, right. You know, you can't make it. You know, do something where there is none. You know,
No,
so you tend to skate across the top of everything.
Yep.
And have it all sound the same. You know, like you said, it's a marketing thing right now. You know, but also I look at it as miseducation when it comes to the public as well as the musician.
Yeah.
Because you know, let's say a young person can gravitate to an instrument, and unless he is directed into a person that really wants him to do well or her to do well, if he's learning guitar online, 9 times out of 10 he's going to be a smooth jazz type of player.
That's true. That's all I've been noticing that online when I've been looking at stuff, because you know I feel like I got so many stuff I need to learn. Going back to basics and all that stuff, and there's a lot of stuff online, but it's all like even backing tracks like 2-chord stuff. It's like pretty modal and stuff like that, and it doesn't do good. But that being said, there's a lot of new young cats that are straight ahead that are killing it, no question. There's a lot of cats out there. They don't get no notoriety.
And see, that's the point right there. You know, it's like, I know it's out there. I know that they're out there. And but society as a whole is not recognizing that. You see what I'm saying?
Correct.
And you know as well as I know that, you know, like, it seems like if you would put more emphasis on the heritage, the culture, the education, and so forth in the music, you know, we'd have in my opinion, society will be a little bit better thinking, you know what I'm saying, overall.
Overall, because then that way people would take the time and not look at a news flash, and then take the time to learn what's really going on with all of it, the good and bad and everything. But nobody wants to do that, because like you said, because we're now focused on making that quick buck, and we don't care about nothing else. Folk don't care about nothing else.
and with this situation we're in now, like the pandemic and everything, that quick buck isn't going to be as quick.
No.
So in the meantime, you know what I'm saying, what do you think they're going to do? You know what I'm saying? In other words, they're going to continue to do what they've always been doing, the same thing, but they're going to complain now about not having, you know, that kind of money rolling. You know what I'm saying?
The gigs are dried up, apparently. You know.
Yeah, pretty much it's desert out there.
Yeah. And it's gonna take a while for it to get back. I guess when they get the vaccine, then some folk ain't gonna take the vaccine, so we're gonna be another 2-3 years dealing with this stuff till they get it all really straightened out. Yeah. So I don't know what we gonna.
Yeah, I was kind of looking at, you know, the way they were talking about it, 2023 maybe.
Yeah, that's about right.
Probably the clearest, year we could see.
Yeah,
things that get close to it, but by that time, most of your giant promoters might be out of business, and as well as the smaller ones. You know, the smaller clubs are going out of business. I think the Birdland.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that. They're about to drop. I'm like, what the?
Yeah, they
do that.
Go under that. You know what I'm saying? That itself was an institution, and they can't stay afloat right now.
I get it. So I guess me and you got to start a little spot.
Either that or get ourselves. Or else create a hut and then just put a sign out, the painted sign out there to let them know you're still here.
Bro, I'm thinking that same thing, because like my prime example is like the World Stage out in Lamert Park. It's a little hole in the wall, but they keep that jazz going with the little donation, whatever they get, and they have acts coming through there. Jeremy Pelt was through there a minute ago, the trumpet player, and they have cats come through and play and perform. Plus they got the weekly jam, and they have what do you call them, workshops and all that stuff. So they're keeping it going as best they can. So I was thinking the same thing, like around here where I live in the Hayfield, there's a couple of empty buildings. I was like, I wonder if I could open something up like that, because there's a couple places in Oakland that they don't serve alcohol, but it's like a membership, just like they did in Salt Lake City. So you bring your own whatever you want to bring, and it's my little club, so I can do that. And then you put a little donation in the kitty, and then we have bands up in there and have music and have workshops and all the other stuff. So maybe it'll be upon cats like you and me or whoever, because I'm about to retire from flying airplanes. To thank.
Okay.
Thank. I've been there 20 years. I've been there 20 years at Master Plantation. See, been there 20 years. So, so I think it's time to pursue the music for real. I've been always kind of pursuing it, but I always had that side gig. But
right. So you so you're looking at what, about staying there for another couple of years before you get out of it?
Honestly, till child support's over.
Oh, really? So you'll be there another 18 years, huh?
You want to put that on me like that, homie? God, no.
You move around the country so much, I know that there's an infant somewhere.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
Oh my God.
No, sir. See how he doing me? That's supposed to be my bud. See how he just put me all out on that. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
Oh, okay, I was just checking, but I have to do that. So what do you think about like right now where we are, and the arts has taken such a heavy hit, this year and last year also.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll be able to get the confidence in people to come back out and listen to live music?
Yeah, I kind of do, because people are sick of being in quarantine or sheltered in place or whatever you want to call it. So people want to come out. I don't think they're going to come out, just like the people like at work, not that they were full, but the airplanes were to the capacity that my airline would allow. It was like, oh man, it's almost like the normal airport up in here, because people was going to see their people. They was going at, Fauci said stay home. They were like, bump that. So people were out.
Oh, man.
So I think they'll come out. If you put it out there, especially put some good stuff out there, they'll definitely come out. I think they will. After a while, after they get the ones that are, because there's a half of people that are scared and ain't gonna leave the house for nothing, and there's some people that take precaution and will go out anyway. So I think you get those that will come out, no question.
I think if they if people would just follow directions, what I'm saying, and if they're really serious about following directions and precautions, it'd probably be a lot sooner. But we are the land of the free. That's good, but then again, it looked like it might not be as good.
Yeah, but it'll take some time. Whatever's going to happen is going to take some time, and a lot of stuff that's out there. People. I know I've talked to people that are, if you're talking about the COVID, that are getting it and they're wearing masks. Right. So it's not. They don't. The folk don't really know what to do with this. So that's the problem. I don't think, and especially the government, the way the government handles it, without going down that road. All the governments kind of screwed this up. Although I will say Georgia, because they do have the testing available and some other stuff, they seem to be as much as you would like to doubt them. They seem to be a little bit more willing to try different stuff than just everybody follow the same rabbit hole. Because you gotta be able to try whatever works, and then if it ain't working, you gotta be able to change it. That's like me going to go land somewhere, and I'm getting a report before I take off. Oh, the weather's gonna be good at your destination, blah, 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 blah. And as we get there, the weather starts crapping out even worse. So what kind of sense would that make to continue to my destination, even though I can't now, there's no way in heck I can land there with the weather they got. So now I gotta change in midstream and come up with a different plan that'll make the outcome better. You know what I'm saying? I don't think some of these governments are doing that. They just stick with that one thing, and that's all they know. And I'm like, well, no, you gotta, if it ain't working, you gotta try some other stuff or something. I don't know. Maybe shut it down.
I think they should be more like. I think they should be more like jazz musicians anyway. I mean, it's about improvisation, isn't it?
It's exactly. You don't know.
That's what it's about.
You gotta be able to think on the fly. You gotta be able
adapt.
You adapt. Okay, we tried this. Okay, we know it's a land of free. We know that half of you ain't gonna wear a mask. So now we gotta come up with something else with the mask to make sure that. Okay, well, how about testing? Okay, they don't mention nothing about testing and make people stay home that got the virus. But that's really where they get it from. Mask or no mask, I think. You're getting it from folk that got the virus, whether they have a mask on or not. And those folk need to be not out in public, period. They need to be home somewhere until they get over the virus. And,
well, I've heard that some of the other promotion companies are going to go ahead and do some concerts this year, in the larger arenas. Mm-hmm. And but they were going to, there was one, I think I can't remember exactly which one it was, but when you buy a ticket, mm-hmm. you have to have a proof of a COVID test.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
And so forth, you know. And I think a lot of those people, a lot of people will kind of follow that example, especially when you talk about. Now, of course, you know, you won't fill 100-seater on 100,000-seater. You know what I'm saying? Even if you have that in place, you know, simply because of the amount of people you're dealing with. So it'll be still a limited amount, but they're gonna have those in the ticket before you. It's got to be in the ticket itself.
But that is perfectly logical. Because the whole game is to keep the people with the virus away from the people that don't have the virus, so the people with the virus don't give it to the people that don't got the virus. You know what I'm saying? It's simple as common sense as that.
Yeah.
That's all of it's really about. But we seem to be focused on some other stuff. Anyway, so I'm hoping you're right, and I'm thinking you're right. And like I said, I'm thinking people will come out because they tired of being cooped. Everybody I talk to tired of being cooped up, and tired of, you know, they wore out. They want to do something. So they'll be out.
So on your with your project that you're coming up with, I'm pretty sure, I know it's going to be good if you're doing it, like you said, most of it's probably going to be over in California.
Most of it.
And the, so
but this,
you got it. What now?
Yeah, I'm saying, go ahead. I forgot. Go ahead, ask your question.
Well, when you're back on the East Coast, the musicians, you have people in mind that you like to work with?
Out here? Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
Okay.
Even you got to take off that Atlanta Hawks hat, though.
So you're not a Hawks fan? Is that what it is? You're not a Hawks fan?
No, I mean, I don't really care about that. As long as they're in the Falcons.
No, all right. Well, I'll make sure I don't have my Hawks cap on, you know what I'm saying?
So like session. Drummer wise, I like Lewis keyboards, Lewis Ervo. I like Tyrone Jackson, but those guys are so busy. But Lewis said he would do it, I think. And I'd have to revisit my drummers because I had some drummers, but I run into the same thing what I was talking about earlier. Like the cats, like at 290 or other spots, they can only do pocket, but their swinging ain't swinging. And for me, my album is gonna have a little bit of everything. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I grew up on, a little bit of everything. That's true to me. And that's what to me worked best. And maybe if the record came out good at all, because it was stuff that was all up in through here. You know what I'm saying? All up in through what I grew up. All up in is all internalized. You know, it wasn't hard to hit the sweet spot and make it come out right because it was something I was from knew and loved. You know what I'm saying? So if I do another record, it has to be that same kind of formula. It has to be something that I'm really good. Because I played gigs. When I first came to Atlanta, I did a gig, and before I was flying for it professionally, I was still working on my licenses up at remember the Quarter Note Hotel up there on Cobb Parkway? I think it's an Embassy Suites now. So the lady hired me to do a gig, her and her husband. She was keyboards, and he was keyboard, she was bass and singing or something. And I don't know if you remember, Dan, what's his name? He died recently, the drummer, older drummer, Dan, I forgot his last name.
Older drummer?
Yeah, when I first came here in 93. This is back in 93, 92, 93, but it's way back. Dan, he lived on the east side. And me and him.
I think there was a Dan over here. I think his name was Dan Whitney.
Yeah, Dan Whitney. Okay. Yeah. Him. So him and me on guitar, and they played all these show tune Beatles stuff and all that stuff. And then after it was good money back then, $75 a night. So for 2 nights, Friday and Saturday night, you had to wear a tuxedo, which is cool with me, whatever. And then after about a month, they came up to me, we're going to try another guitar player. I'm like, okay, why? Well, we could tell you're not into it. And I wasn't. So that came out. So that's what I'm saying. So long as what I got to play, I realize I got to be into it. And I don't know if that's good or bad or whatever, but if I'm not into it, it ain't gonna come out sounding good. It's gonna come throughout my fingers will know. You know what I'm saying? So
well, I kind of had a conversation like that, even not last night, where someone asked me, what's on your mind when you're playing, because it felt like when I'm working with them, it's almost like, well, I'm just doing it because you called me and that's it. You know what I'm saying? They were trying to figure out why, it wasn't all this emotion in it. I'm like, sometimes when you play long enough, you control all that. You can have just as much energy and keep a stone face. And what you're doing there, though, is allowing what you do, your sound to dictate all emotion for you. They had a hard time getting that around their head.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody doesn't have to, yoke their neck, to make you think that they're playing something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you. But some of the cats are good like that. Some cats are good and they face is like whatever. But some guys they like convulsions and everything. It just be coming all out of them because it comes out of them naturally, and that's how it comes out.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to let them know. Everybody's different when it comes to that.
Different. You just gotta listen to what they're doing. Is it grooving? Whatever they face, it don't really matter.
Yeah, but see, they were looking at it from a audience point of view. They were looking at it like, well, the audience feels that you're not getting into it. If the sound is good, you know what I'm saying, and the group is good, that means that you're not getting into it because you're not getting it. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true.
They're not getting it. You all of a sudden went over their head with certain things. Not intentionally. But
that's where it came. Yeah, that's the way it came.
I'm
going to ask a question about that as an observer. As a musician, does that happen often when you often drift off like that and not? I mean, as an artist, I always think that musicians are pretty much, the artist, the total into what they're doing, and I kind of find that to be a little bit surprising because, I mean, do you actually feel like, I'm just going to phone this section of this song and phone it in. I'm not doing, does that happen often? I mean, I'm kind of like a little bit surprised at that.
That gig it did, but no. Yes, no. I don't know. I'm going to put it like that. Could. No, I don't know. Yes, sir. For me, no. After that, because after that gig, and I was telling you about back when I first moved to Atlanta, after then I was playing stuff that I was either learning how to do or liked. And I made sure that I just played stuff that I had an affinity for, that I could groove to keep that from happening. But to piggyback off that, you do wish a point. I am now more cognizant of my stage presence because I don't want to just stand there and just be looking all stoic. Although sometimes it's just because my brain is trying to think, okay, what can I do to make this music sound like music? So my brain is all thinking about what I'm hearing and processing and trying to come up with something to match and not overbear. You hear what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I think it's all about you. Your own soul, your own essence. And sometimes that doesn't even require a whole lot of physical movement and stuff like that. But as long as you get that out of the instrument, that soul that Barn puts it so elegantly when he's talking about music. Basically using the phrase that Eddie Carter did, jazz ain't nothing but soul. You know what I'm saying? And when you get in there, and but that doesn't necessarily mean that it has to have you have to be in a particular frame of mind as far as trying to allow people saying, okay, I'm hitting this thing real hard, blah 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 blah. Look at my expression on my face. I'm into it that way. If that's in your soul to do that, then do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But everybody's not like that. Some guys don't even. I remember I seen West Montgomery many times, and it's almost like the statue of the thinker.
Yeah.
Now if you can imagine the thinker has a guitar in his hand.
Yeah. That's what's my good.
You don't care whether or not he's moving or not. Because what's coming out of that guitar is West.
It's West, no question.
You know? And he's gonna canvas the whole room with that. So everybody's gonna feel that. You know.
That's true. Just watching the video West on YouTube just now before I chimed in from him from 1965 with Wynton Kelly and Paul Chambers on bass and stuff, and he was just doing his thing, and every now and then he'd look up and smile.
Yeah, every now and then, right?
Because he was like, "Oh, I hit that thing right there." Then y'all hit, or he was like, "Y'all hit that thing, whatever, right there."
Yeah.
And then he'd be back to doing this thing with his thumb, but it sounded so good.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It sounded so good. So I'm like, okay. And that probably goes back to what you were saying about people not being able to listen constructively without they don't absorb the whole thing. If they're looking for your expression, then they're looking for a show, maybe.
Right. That's the way I look at it.
And they're looking for no harm, but Convulsion and Prince and Earth, Wind & Fire with this crap spinning everywhere, and AC/DC and Kiss with the blood coming out and the fireworks. They're looking for that's part of entertainment, unfortunately, now. And then unfortunately, it's not quite so much that with jazz, because jazz is more about the music than the person, than the pyrotechnics. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably why people say that you don't look like nothing. I'm like, well, I ain't supposed to. I'm thinking and I'm playing. I'm trying to hear. So my brain is going. I'm not up here mindless doing something. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I think a lot of them just misinterpret, that action because of what they already accustomed to before they even get, you know what I'm saying? If you get bombarded on the radio with a certain type of music all the time, then that's what you're going to look for in any musician.
Correct.
That's the pop musician or rock musician, jazz musician. You got to kind of look for that. You know what I'm saying? And when that doesn't happen, then that's when you put your hat on to criticize. You know what I'm saying? And you're only criticizing about things you can't understand. I don't understand why you do that, but some people do.
That is correct. You are a wise one, Mr. Williams. You are wise and true.
Well, okay. Now, Vaughn, you want to weigh into this because I know that as much music as you play.
I was just listening, and it when you talked about musicians not being too expressive, I came across a video just this morning, and I was watching Brian Blade on drums, and he was freaking going crazy. He was playing. It was him, Wayne Shorter. I don't know who the bassist was or the piano player, but Brian Blade was ridiculously just. I wasn't even listening to the drumming. I was just watching the action. And it just occurred to me that most drummers are the ones that will give you a show. They just go blind crazy. And I remember years ago, we was at, I think, a park in downtown LA. And we had one of the radio stations there was giving a free concert in the park. And it was Bobby Lyle, it was Eric Reed, it was Abraham Laboriel, and of all people, Ndugu on drums.
Whoa.
Leon. And they were playing Bobby Lyle's classic, The Genie.
Yes.
And if you ever hear that drum, that rhythm, that's just, oh my gosh, it drives. The drummer's driving that song, And Ndugu just went into this sequence where he was in a trance, and we were blown out of our seats. In fact, we were sitting down on the grass, so he blew us so far back, we looked like we slid on the grass away from.
Water slide, no water.
Was that at LACMA?
Exactly.
Was that at LACMA?
Oh my gosh! And
was that at LACMA?
It was just so impressive. And from that point on, I remember seeing Sonny Emery here in Atlanta, and he was just as energetic and just as animated as you could ever see a drummer. And it just reminded me how much drummers put so much of themselves into that instrument, and they become that showman, And it's fascinating that, we're having this conversation about, you know, being stoic and being concentrating, and, guitarists are so smooth and kind of like in that trance when they hit that groove and they got those chords going, and piano players do the same thing. Their antics are just with their hands.
Yeah.
But those drummers, oh my gosh, they're that spark,
Full body workout.
But that's all I got to say. Oh yeah, full body, no doubt.
You spoke the truth, the way and the light, the truth, the way. You like to take a collection after that. It could, but that's true. That's true. Was that concert at LACMA at the on the grass out there?
It was. I can't think of the name of the park in the center of downtown LA. Like
okay.
Like near Western and Wilshire and all of those. It's like it intersects. Well, really, they're running north and south, and that park that sits with the lake in the middle, with that lake in the middle.
That Alvarado Park. I've been over there. Off of Wilshire. Yeah, over there in
exactly.
Lake. What's the name of that area? Lake Westlake. I forgot the name of the area.
It's like
I know what you're talking about. I walked through this.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I can't think of it right now. It just escapes me. But that concert was ridiculous.
Okay.
That concert was ridiculous.
So, love Bobby Lyle. Love Bobby Lyle. I saw him a few times.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Spot in LA. And he was killing. He had a drummer there that was killing, a little bass player that was on a cane, little short dude, but he was killing on the bass. Oh my God, he was killing it. He was killing it. He was killing it. I was like, man. And that's the beauty of jazz. You can like, for me, like when I told you I listened to that Breezing album, the 3 songs on the back, Affirmation, So This Is Love, and Lady. I would listen to the whole thing together, then I would just play Affirmation over and over again. And the first time I'm listening to George. Second time, I might cue in on what's his name, Klaus Ogerman's string arrangement. I'm like, how do you put the strings in that? And then I'm listening to the drum, Rista Harvey, especially on So This Is Love. He's putting that little back groove with a bunch of fills in between that stuff, and a little airy part in the middle of that song. And then I listen to Ralph McDonald. I just listen to all those. I can listen to the whole album. Let's listen to one instrument the whole time too, and I can listen to it again to see what I missed, and then that clue on to something else. See, I'm weird like that. I'm sorry.
I think we all did it because we're true jazz heads. That's what we would do. We listen to these albums and we try to find these things we didn't hear before, and where the other musicians lie in those compositions and what they contributed to it. So I'm with you on that.
I'm sorry.
Like coming up through the years, that's the way I had to learn most of things I did. I had to learn everybody's part. And still to this day, I'm still in that mode of learning everybody's part.
Yeah, that's good. Because you're a good bass player, so I love you a long time.
Okay. I forgot to let you know, Vaughn, that Dave is a comedian, and he never turns off.
I'm sorry, I could turn down.
You see all the movement. He can't sit still.
I can't sit still. I'm like a lifesaver. I'm like a lifesaver. I can't.
Yeah, he's a laugh a minute.
Hey, you gotta enjoy your life. But it's all good, man.
Now, Dave, for people that want to get in touch with you, man, to follow you or whatever, have any platforms that they can get you on?
Right now, I'm having an issue with my Facebook. I guess I do have an Instagram. Email me, I guess, dgrant727@aol.com. And it's on the back of my album. And my stuff is, like I said, it's on YouTube. Facebook kicked me off because somebody hacked my stuff and replaced my login email with another email. And so now I'm fighting with them. And I'm going to probably put it on the Instagram and the Twitter. So I'm gonna get that together. So unfortunately, I'm in flux. Right now, all I got is my email for sure and the Instagram.
So you give them that email again.
dgrant727 404-808-AOL.com, or they can call me direct. Can I give the number? I ain't scared.
Yeah, yeah.
404-808-7699. That's David Grant, 404-808-7699. Glad to talk to any and everybody, especially if it's about music or whatever, all day long. Advice on something.
And Brian, of course, let us know where Jazz Beats
Yes.
And Brian has so many handles, so many different ways to get in contact with him. He can't hide from anybody.
I know they find me everywhere. It's you can find me at jazzbeatsradio.com. That's the webpage for the radio station. And also I'm on Instagram as well at Von Coulter. And my email address is voncoulter.fm@gmail.com. So, just hit me up there. And if you know the other fellow musicians out there that want to, have their music heard. And, we at the radio station, we highly, highly represent the independent artist. That's how that station was built, playing music by the independent artist. And we've done real good with those guys, male and female. And so we're looking forward to be able to keep that out there, because the independent artist is what makes us who we are.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to be in touch with you more regular, see, Mr. Vaughn and Mr.
All right.
Because y'all both cool with me. I don't care what anybody say. Y'all cool with me. This is an undertaking. Hey, Mr. Williams, I'm serious about looking into maybe doing some kind of world stage type-ish thing, like getting a spot and then a studio and putting some instruments in there, and then having it open and a couple of little folding chairs at start, and then see if we can't promote this stuff ourselves. Make sure we keeping something going for at least a year or 2 or 3. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. As a matter of fact, we can talk about that. Whenever you get a chance, and you can see it to where where you can actually do it, and it can be done. It's just a matter of us going on and putting our hands and making it work.
I'm cool with that. I'm definitely cool with that. That would be cool. And then we can gig some, and everybody else can gig too.
Right. Now, you can reach me at Jazz Matters, or the website is actually yesjazzmatters.org. And when you go there, we have, like I said, we are 501c3, and we do take donations to try to keep the music alive. We also want you to definitely subscribe to the podcast, share it with your friends, like us. We also have, like I said, the Jazz Matters store, which you can buy T-shirts with lots of cool stuff.
I'll get one.
Yeah, just check it out.
I got my Freddie Hubbard on just for
you.
Oh
yeah. Well, you just leave that. Yeah, leave that alone right now. This is right here is what I'm saying. Jazz Matters.
I'm gonna buy that one today. I'm gonna join up, and I'm gonna give you a little money, and I'm gonna buy the T-shirt today.
Okay. They got T-shirts, like I said, hoodies and sweatshirts also. They even got coffee mugs. So I know that you're a coffee drinker, even though you spike it most of the time. But you can use that mug, and everybody makes it.
I drink tea, green tea.
Yeah, right. Okay. Anyway, you can get us. That's yesjazzmatters.org, and like I said, subscribe, like us, go to the store, donate. All that you can get on that page. You can learn everything there is to know about jazz.
Okay,
so, guys, we're gonna wrap this up, and Dave, it was great talking to you and seeing you again.
Yes,
and I'm glad you got on, and I'm glad you were able to keep the jokes to a minimum.
I'm sorry. I got it. I'm sorry. I'll keep it down to a minimum.
But okay, you do it. I know it was killing you not to be able to talk about it, but it's all right. We're talking about the music. We're just talking about the music today.
It was perfect to hear everybody. No, it was perfect. I'm good.
Okay, man. Cool. All right. And we'll get back with you with the next Jazz Matters podcast. So say goodbye, everybody, because it's over.
Bye. Enjoy the music.
And Mr. Grant, you just keep you just keep doing you, brother. You just keep doing you.
Oh, he can't help it. He can't help it.
That's all I can do.
Okay, man. All right.
All right, y'all be good. Easy.
All right.